Hey, what's going on, YouTube? What's going on, subscribers? I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I caught some crazy stomach virus and put me on the bed for quite a few days. Also had a bunch of busy days with my studies, so I'm still working on my graduate studies. So you could probably guess what I'm working on. It's a MBA in finance. Should be done next year, next summer. But yeah, I wanted to post a video, catch up with you all, and pretty much tell you the moves that I'm making and talk about some stuff in the mentality of how I think about some things. Okay, so Palantir. All right, Palantir has been running lately. I got the actual position up here, and it should serve as some sort of example for what I'm going to talk about next. Now, you notice like the dates on all of these buy orders. So by the time April 24th of next year hits, all of these should be long and as far as over 12 months. So there's a lot of people online, like a lot of other Palantir shareholders they're selling and they're like, oh, I'm taking profits and it's risky and this and that. And I want to talk about that. I see things way differently than other people. All right. So when the stock's elevated and it's running and the fundamentals, I see the fundamentals are catching up, but not completely to the point to where this is justified yet. Now, the way you got to see it is it's not risky for me because these are all gains. All right, they're unrealized gains. All right, I've been in the position for a while, so the way I see it is these gains are the margin of safety. All right, if you're buying, if someone is buying like right around these levels and the stock is priced in a lot of the future growth, then that's risky to them, right? Because they're coming in at a different cost basis. All right. So the way I see it is people that sell like a lot of this investing game is a temperament. All right. And what I mean by that is if I sold every time I hit 100%, there's got to be, the way I see it is those investors are selling themselves short. I don't know if you've heard of that. I think that's where the term probably came from. This is a long-term play. All right. I'm in this for huge gains. I'm talking, I want over 10x. All right. And I want to hold this. I want this money to be working for several years, over a decade, so Palantir, the story, it's trucking along. They got a quarter billion contract not too long ago. They're about to land the NHS deal, and their revenue, I'm expecting their revenue growth to reaccelerate. Right now, we're sitting at 27% gain. That'll fluctuate, go up and down, what have you. It's really irrelevant to me. But I am okay with the position right now, and I don't intend to add any. All right. So I want to talk about what I want to see from Palantir for the next at least 5 years. Okay. This is something that I'm personally looking forward to. It's a little nitpicky thing, but so if you go to profitability in Seeking Alpha, this EBITDA margin, okay, you notice I have this gross profit margin of 79%. Spectacular, right? These margins, as they scale, are going to start materializing into what it's supposed to be. All right, what can we expect? So this is what I want to see. I want to see their EBITDA margin plus their revenue growth equal to the sum of 40%. Okay, this is called the rule of 40. If a tech SaaS company scales, how do we know that this thing is going to scale profitably at a healthy profit margin to where the profitability can keep up with the actual organic growth, right? So that's where the rule of 40 comes into play. So if next year, for example, we're projecting 19%, or let's say, for example, this is 20%. Next year, we're going to do 20% revenue growth. I want to go back to profitability. I want this EBITDA margin to look like 20%. As long as the sum equals 40%, I don't care. I'm good to go as far. And that's one of these little indicators that I want to see with Palantir later on. The fundamentals are primarily going to truncate a lot of these things, and these will come to fruition hopefully later on. All right, because if right now they still need to focus on reaccelerating the revenue growth and actually start printing some cash as far as their profitability and EPS. And if they could take some shares off the market, and if they need to, they do what they got to do. All right. So that's what I want to see with Palantir. I want to bring up, I want to talk about Crocs now. All right. Okay. So here's my Crocs position. This position's built. This position got built. I decided, I don't know if you've been following along in my videos, I said that I was going to double the position to 200 shares, and my target range within those 200 shares was to do it before their next earnings. So here you go. 200 shares. The position's built. I'm not adding any more. I'm kind of envious to other people if they're adding at these levels and getting a lower cost basis. I'm jealous, I'll admit. Now, I know what I'm getting with Crocs, and this might sound a little sick, but I want the stock to stay down for a little while, and this is why. Because the company is buying back stocks right now. They're buying back the stock right now. They're retiring the shares, so they're putting it into the treasury on their when they put shares in the treasury and they start retiring shares, their EPS is going to boom. So the shares that I have and the ownership that I have is going to start increasing, depending on how much they buy back at what price. Their last earnings call in July, they stated they bought back $55 million worth of stock. And that's when they reported, but that 55 million was not included in their June numbers for when they reported. So they reported in July, but the cutoff was June. So I know at least 55 million worth of stock was bought, probably at a little higher levels because stock was a little higher in July. So I'm not worried about all of this red. Okay. And I'm really not worried about the inflows of institutional dollars right now. Okay. I'm worried about the organic free cash flows and growth rates of the company. You see, Palantir, and I'll let you in on a little secret. For Palantir, I don't care about the free cash flows. I care about net income and growth rates. Okay, so that's something I want people to realize. When you're investing in these growth stocks, that their rapid growth, you have to project out what their net incomes will be based on their net income margins. So, and that's what's going to determine for their PE. All right. what kind of multiple are they going to get on their PE? Because their net income is what their earnings is going off of. So earnings equals net income. All right. So if they're doing $1 billion in net income and they're getting a 20 PE, it's a $20 billion company. All right. So Crocs, I think that Crocs is going to do, I think they'll do a billion in net income, free cash flows by 2025. And I'm thinking maybe after, in those couple of years, they pay off maybe $1 billion worth of debt. You know, their credit rating gets credited up. They command a higher multiple. Maybe they get their 12 PE, 12 billion, all right, $12 billion market cap. All right, that's just an example. Some things that I'm looking at. All right, now I want to go back to this. Their net. So for Palantir, I'm looking at net income because I'm not going off the free cash flows for Palantir. With these rapid growth companies, the free cash flows are just going to get reinvested right back into the business as far as for other growth initiatives. And they're not going to be used via dividends or buybacks or whatever. So free cash flows are not really the thing that I look at. That's not the value proposition. It's really the revenue growth and net income, because that's what they're going to be reporting. All right. And that's what the market's going to go off of. Now, when you're going into deep value plays like Crocs, the reason why free cash flows matter is you're not going to be dependent on institutional inflows of money towards your stock. You're going to be more dependent towards the company's earnings or the company's money, the money that the company is making. The management is going to allocate back to the shareholders through the actual free cash flows. So that's why I've been talking about levered free cash flows. That's why I talk about this. All right. So Crocs' free cash flow margin to this price is around 18%. I think 17 to 18% is the free cash flow yield, not the margin, the free cash flow yield. So if you bought a house for $100,000 and after the rents, if you buy a house for $100,000 and it produces 17,000 worth of rent a year, that's a 17% free cash flow yield. Okay, so that's something to consider. If Crocs, at this actual valuation, Crocs is priced for negative revenue growth, like to go negative on the decline, like not plus 1% revenue growth. I think at this pace they're priced at this price, they're pricing in negative growth and a hit to their free cash flows. All right, so at least that's what I assess the market is pricing it as. All right, now I want to talk a little bit about the mentality of things, because the temperament, yes, you got to understand the situation, you got to understand the proposition and the value that you're getting, but I want to talk about the temperament of things as far as like just investing in general. Okay, have you ever heard the term work smarter, not harder? This is a fallacy. All right. Because the other person competitive to you is going to work harder and smarter. Okay. But here's another twist. This is what's really gonna. Okay. So this is what I found out. Working harder and working smarter, even that's not enough. So you got to work harder, work smarter, and you got to take risks. And you got to be right when everybody's like, a lot of people are betting. And you can, yes, there's situations where multiple people can be right and we all win. But in this case, like Crocs, for example, okay, Um, Wall Street is saying, oh, the free cash flows are going to get hit and they're unsustainable and they're going to have negative growth and this and that. Okay. I disagree. Don't worry. Institutions and firms get it wrong all the time. All right. You got to look at all the other angles. All right. So, how do you know, and everybody's got an opinion. All right. Everybody's got an opinion and they'll say, well, that's just my 2 cents. And they haven't even put 1 cent in, literally. All right. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. Here's my $20,000. There's got to be a measurement of conviction in what you're trying to accomplish here. All right. I think that the free cash flows are going to hold, and I think the company's going to grow. I'm going to buy 20 grand worth of the stock. Right. So it might be worth 16.5 right now. But at these values and what we're priced in for when we go into earnings for expectations, this stock is expecting like a huge hit. Like Wall Street's expecting it to take a huge hit on the earnings and this and that. If they keep triple beating on their EPS, revenue, guidance, if they keep doing this and Wall Street starts figuring out and everybody starts figuring out the cash flows are real, and they're buying back a bunch of stock at these levels, stock gonna go up. All right. But if I had it my way, I wouldn't mind if this stays at these levels for maybe 2 or 3 quarters, so that way the company's management team can buy back a bunch of stock. All right. So that's just my take on it. All right. Let me see here. I gotta pull up my next initiative for my next position that I plan on building. Okay. All right, here we go. So, get out of there. SoFi. All right, this is the next position that I plan on finishing off. All right. So, on and off, I've bought this. I did a little FOMO buying here at these prices, but that's kind of irrelevant. I'm going to average down and I'll top this off at 10 grand. People wonder why, Palantir was 10 grand. This is going to be 10 grand. How come Crocs is 20 grand? Okay, well, I'll tell you why. Because I got twice the amount of conviction. When you got the free cash flows, you got 2 modes and a trifecta going. Stock's it's an eventuality. All right. But anyway, SoFi and their growth, they're set to be profitable. Not this coming earnings, but next earnings. And I'm expecting a pop. Even when the earnings come out for this upcoming earnings for SoFi, good chance there's going to be a pop as well, and then it'll bleed out. The stock will bleed right back down to regular valuation levels. But I plan on buying more SoFi. I'm trying to get up to 10 grand invested into this company, and then I'll say, oh, that's it. I bought 10 grand. I'm good to go. My position's built. That's my style. I like to get up to 10 grand and say, oh, did my part, bought the stock. Now it's time for the management team to just perform. All right. And I'll keep doing that, building out the other positions that I have in my portfolio. So, yeah, I hope everybody found some value on some of the little intricacies of stuff that I've been talking about. If you're just new watching this, consider subscribing. I think I have 21 subscribers. Thank all 21 of y'all. I saw another YouTube video not too long ago, and there was some lady on there talking about I'm going to sell this course and it's going to be about manifesting this and manifesting that. And, you know, it's like just it was a scam. I'm like, people are actually selling this crap. And she had like several thousands of subscribers. All right. That don't, I mean, as far, I mean, I think the channel will grow, but what I'm trying to say is this channel will never be something like that. This channel will never be a thing of I'm trying to sell people garbage. Okay? This channel is about the hard truth about how things are done. All right? At least the way I see it. Okay? Seeing the different angles and what it takes to be an investor, and the sentiments and the different angles of value and wealth creation, etc. All right, so yeah, that's my take. I'm gonna post another video shortly here to catch up because I missed out. I missed out on because I haven't posted in a while. So watch out, coming soon. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I love you all, and I'll see you all soon again.